Hey guys, JBuilds here, and today we're going to be looking at my redesigned table saw fence system. First of all, I want to thank all of you for your support. I've gotten a great response from you guys, and I took a lot of the feedback to make this system even better. I'm going to be covering the changes that I've made in this video and show you guys the improvements in terms of the overall performance. The biggest improvement by far on this fence that I've made compared to before is that the fence stays perfectly perpendicular to your miter slot as you move it. So as you can see, the movement using these rollers, I'll get into that a little bit, is perfectly smooth here. Perfectly smooth, perfectly consistent. And I can hold it, move it anywhere I want, and it's not gonna go sideways. It's just simply gonna move left and right, and that's by far my biggest improvement, because my last system and a lot of other systems only become parallel to your miter slot when you clamp them down, as compared to this one. It's always parallel. The locking feature is only basically just a simple lock that's clamping this down. It's not doing anything else. So that makes it a lot easier in terms of everyday use. And then just to give you guys an overview of kind of the different components that make up this whole system, and I'm gonna make a longer video probably separately just to go more in depth as to why I've designed it as I have. But just to cover the basics and just to get you guys familiar with it, the fence extrusion itself, again, is just a 80-20-10 series 2x2 inch aluminum extrusion that's going to be machined with these counterbores. You'll see you have 4 of them, 2 up here, 2 down here, and these counterbores are for these anchor fasteners that connect the fence extrusion to this vertical extrusion piece here. So the anchor fasteners, if you're familiar with the 80-20 world, they claim are the provide the strongest type or the strongest mechanical connection as compared to flat plates or any of the other type of connecting systems that they have. And in addition to being the strongest connection, they are also very easily adjustable. So I can just loosen these 4 screws here and move this up and down as I need. And that gets me into my other really big improvement, is that the system does not rely on you drilling any sort of mounting holes to be able to install it on your table saw. So that makes it really versatile in terms of being able to install this on like a Craftsman 113 saw or a Grizzly or a DeWalt or a Delta, any of the older saws, or even newer saws like the newer contractor saws. As long as you have mounting holes on the front of your saw and you have access from the back to be able to install some bolts from the back, basically, you will be able to install this. And the way you basically go about installing it is you install these vertical and horizontal supports for the fence rail. You install your rail, you'll get your slider on, and then you'll basically slide this down, and wherever it sits, because this is the piece you'll get a longer piece as compared to the one here. I've actually trimmed this one down just so that it looks better for me, but you'll get I think an 8-inch piece as compared to this one, and that's solely because I wanted to make it such that you can install it on any different type of saw. So this basically will slide in here with the double anchor fasteners, and then it's up to you if you want to trim it down based on your personal preference. But I wanted to make it highly adaptable to any kind of saw, and that covers the basics of it. Now, the linear rail that I'm using here, the linear rail itself is actually built into the V-slot aluminum extrusion that I have. This is a Open Builds 2020 metric V-slot aluminum profile, and I'm using these stainless steel gantry plates. I have four and 4/8 of these stainless steel wheels that have bearings inside of them, and they're mounted on these gantry plates. They're pretty commonly used in the 3D printer world, and the nice thing about them is that you can easily adjust the tension on these wheels using these eccentric spacers. I have another video that kind of goes a little bit more in detail on that, so I'll put a link on that in bio. But these provide really nice smooth movement, and like I said, highly adjustable, so you can make sure that there's no like side to side play here, that they really firmly grip the profile. And then the way I have designed these vertical rail mounts, I've designed them in such a way that again, I'm using the anchor fasteners here. So this is just a short piece of 1/2" profile. You'll attach this to your table saw. This is going through your table saw here, with just a nut in the back. And then you have a single anchor fastener here, and then you have another short piece of aluminum profile here with a hole, and then that hole is basically, there is a hammerhead bolt. This bolt is fits the profile there, and that's supporting the rail. But the reason I'm using these here is that loosening these will let me adjust, basically move this in or out. You can see you know, the space here in back. So if I loosen these 2 screws, I'll be able to move this in or out, and that will let me calibrate my actual fence to be parallel with the miter slot. So that's a little bit on the rail. Like I mentioned before, you have a simple clamping mechanism here that just locks down your fence. I'm also, in addition, providing you a rail for the tape measure, which is also included. And then this rail basically gets mounted using a bracket, just a simple right angle bracket. So then you have 2 screws here that are supporting the rail that you can loosen to basically calibrate your tape measure. So you just basically move your fence to the 0 spot, you know, move this, adjust this, and then I'm also including the actual cursor there. I also wanted to show you guys some of the accuracy tests I did. First, I did just a dial indicator mounted to my miter gauge. I had the fence all the way to the left next to the blade, and then I repeated the same test again with the fence all the way on the right side, and I got some pretty good results this way. Next, I did a test cut using a 3/4 inch piece of plywood that I had, and I used my digital calipers to check the front and the back of the board after I ripped it down, and you can see I got a difference of about 1/32 of an inch, or about 30 thou. Another thing I just wanted to add in here is that you will notice that the fence has a slight bit of deflection, or end play as some people call it, towards the very end of it. If you push it into the fence, you'll notice it moves maybe a 1/16 of an inch or so, and then it returns to its position. This should not be an issue if you're using the fence and your saw correctly. You should not be putting that much sideways pressure into the fence to begin with. But I've cut large sheets of plywood on this, and there's actually other YouTubers. There's another good video out there that I'll share a link with you guys in the description that talks about this phenomenon. A lot of people just seem to think that this will throw off their cut, but really, in reality, it does not make any difference. The only way you can be sure is if you do a test cut and confirm yourself, but again, this should not be an issue. So to recap, I've designed this fence to be very adaptable and adjustable. You can easily adjust you know, the position or the height of the front rails. If you want them a little bit higher up, you can trim down the vertical rail supports. You can also trim down the vertical fence support if you want to, and then it's very easy to adjust how to set this fence parallel to your miter slot and your table saw. Feel free to check out my link to the website and drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys think, and thanks again for watching.